Useless woman. The slap came so suddenly that Stephen nearly knocked Claire to the floor. Her husband towered over her, his face twisted with rage. His mother, Helen, sat on the sofa watching with folded arms, a wicked smile tugging at her lips. Stephen, don't waste your energy on her, Helen sneered. She's nothing but dead weight. She eats your food, lives under your roof, and still can't give you peace. A lazy wife is worse than a curse. Claire's hands trembled as she held her cheek. Her eyes darted toward the dining table where her two children sat frozen, their little bodies shaking with fear. 8-year-old Ethan gripped his sister's hand tightly. 6-year-old Sophie buried her face in his shoulder, muffling her sobs. Stephen's voice boomed through the room. Look at you, Claire. You can't even earn a penny. You sit in this house like a parasite while I work day and night. Do you know how ashamed I feel to call you my wife? Tears stung her eyes, but she swallowed them down. She had heard these words too many times. Words that cut deeper than any slap, any kick. And yet, living was not an option. Her parents had made it clear the last time she ran to them with bruises on her arms. Marriage is not a bed of roses, Claire, her father had said firmly. Every woman suffers. Enjoy it. If you walk out, people will laugh at us. They will call you a disgrace. Her mother's voice was even harsher. Go back to your husband. A woman without a husband is nothing. Do you want to bring shame to us? So she went back. Every time. But tonight, something was different. Tonight, something broke inside her. The sound of men's laughter filled the living room. Stephen had invited his friends again, as he always did. They lounged on the couches, drinking beer, sneering at Claire as though she were entertainment. Why don't you smile and dance for us, Claire? One of them mocked. She can't even do that. Another laughed. Stephen, where did you find this piece of misery? Stephen roared with laughter, slamming his palm on the table. She is worthless, I tell you. Worthless. The words pierced her heart like knives. But what burned more was the sight of her children watching, their innocent faces absorbing every humiliation. That night, when everyone had finally fallen asleep, Claire sat by the window staring into the darkness. Her heart was heavy, her body weak, but her spirit whispered one question she had buried for years. Where did I go wrong? What is my offense? Why can't my husband love me? Is this really my life? Or is there a way out? Claire, get down here. Stephen's voice thundered from the living room. Claire quickly dropped the piece of bread she had been eating in the kitchen. She hadn't had a proper meal in 2 days, but she knew better than to keep him waiting. When she entered the room, she found Helen sitting beside Stephen, sipping tea as if she were the queen of the house. There she is, Helen said with a cold smirk. The parasite. Stephen leaned back, his eyes narrowing at Claire. Tell me, what exactly do you contribute to this family? My money pays the bills. My money feeds those kids. My money keeps a roof over your head. And what do you do? Absolutely nothing. I take care of children, she whispered. Children, Helen scoffed. Even a maid can do better than you. You call that work? You've trapped my son with your laziness. If it weren't for these kids, I'd tell him to throw you out this minute. You made me quit my job, you remember? I was working until I married you. I cook, do the dishes, take off the kids, do the laundry, and yet... Will you shut up, idiot? What else are you good at? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You are worthless. I regret ever getting married to a useless girl like you. But I am not. Stephen landed her a big slap. How dare you talk when I and my mother are talking? I have warned you not to talk while I am talking, he said, grabbing her throat. The next time you try it again, you will pay heavily for it. Claire's lips trembled, but no words came. Ethan and Sophie were standing quietly at the edge of the hallway, their wide eyes fixed on their mother. She saw the fear in them, and her heart shattered. Stephen slammed his fist on the table, making Sophie jump. "Answer me, Claire. Do you know how ashamed I am when my friends ask what my wife does? Do you know the humiliation I feel when I say nothing? She sits at home like a beggar." Her voice broke, tears spilling down her cheeks. "I never asked you to." Another slap landed before she could finish. Helen clapped her hands together as if she were applauding. "That's it, son. Show her who's boss. Maybe then she'll learn her place." "You should be grateful that I married a good-for-nothing idiot like you," Stephen said. "Get out of my sight, foolish woman." Claire turns to leave. "Come back here, you idiot. Take this money, prepare a sumptuous meal. I will be coming home with a guest, and make sure it is very tasty. If not, I will skin you alive. Get out!" He thundered. Claire staggered back, holding her cheek. Her body burned with pain, but the real agony came from the sight of her children. Ethan stood frozen, clenching his fist as if he wanted to fight, but he was only 8. Helpless. Sophie sobbed, whispering, "Mommy, don't cry." Claire wanted to gather them into her arms and run far away, but where would she go? To her parents? No. She remembered too well the last time she had tried. She had arrived at her parents' doorstep bruised, broken, and desperate. Her mother had taken one look at her and sighed. "Claire, marriage is not for the weak. Go back to your husband." "But Mom," I cried, "he beats me, he insults me, even his mother." Her father had cut her off sharply. "Do you think we raised you to bring shame to us? Do you want the neighbors to laugh? Do you want people to say our daughter is divorcee? Go back and endure. Every woman suffers." Those words had chained her to Stephen more tightly than any piece of paper ever could. Her own parents, the people she thought would protect her, had handed her back to the lion's den. And now, every time she thought of leaving, those words echoed in her ears. Go back, endure, every woman suffers. That night, Stephen brought in his friends again, the house filled with the stench of alcohol and cigarettes. Claire served them, her hands shaking as she placed bottles on the table. "Hey, Stephen!" One of the men laughed. "Your wife walks around like a ghost. Doesn't she know how to smell?" Another chimed in. "Maybe she's too lazy to even move her lips." Laughter exploded in the room. Stephen joined in, pointing at her. "See what I've been telling you. Worthless." Claire stood frozen, her face burning with humiliation. Ethan and Sophie sat in the corner, their little eyes wide and wet. Every word was carving scars on their young hearts. When she finally retreated to the kitchen, she leaned against the wall, gasping for breath. Her chest felt heavy, her soul crushed. She whispered to herself, "God, is this how my story ends? For how long will I continue like this? Will I die here?" It was past midnight when the house grew silent. Stephen and his friends lay sprawled on the couches, drunk and snoring. Helen was asleep in the guest room. Claire tiptoed to the children's room, watching them sleep. Ethan had his arm protectively around Sophie, even in his dreams. Tears blurred her vision. She sat by the window, staring into the darkness, her heart aching. For years she had endured. For years she had believed her parents' words, that she had no choice. But tonight, a new thought entered her mind. What if there was someone out there who could help me? What if I can actually live with my children to somewhere else where no one can find me? She started making plans on how to escape. 2 days later, while buying groceries, a familiar voice startled her. "Claire Obiekwe, is that you? No, I must be dreaming." Jessica Balagoon stood before her, eyes wide. "Claire, oh my God, it has been so long. Where have you been? After graduation, you disappeared." Claire tried to smile. I'm just picking up a few things." Jessica studied her.
I'm sorry, but you don't look well. What happened? They talked for a moment, and Jessica insisted on driving her to pick up the children from school. Afterwards, Jessica handed Claire her card. Call me when you're less busy. We need to talk. 1 week later, Claire met Jessica and told her everything, each insult, every slap, the way the house felt like a prison. Jessica listened, then took Claire's hands. You must leave, she said firmly. It is better they tell your children that this is where your mother lives than this is where she is buried. You have to stay alive for them. Look at you, beautiful, intelligent, hardworking. You have everything it takes to survive. I will help you, but only if you give me the chance.
Claire sat on Jessica's couch, her fingers twisting the hem of her dress. She had just poured out years of pain, and Jessica's eyes still shone with disbelief and anger. Claire, Jessica said firmly, you can't go back there. If you stay, Stephen will destroy you. You must leave before it's too late. Claire's heart pounded. But where will I go? I have no money, no house. Even my parents shut their doors against me. How can I survive with 2 children? Jessica leaned closer, her voice calm but steady. You don't need to do it alone. I own a small business now. I can help you with work. I can give you and the children a place to stay until you are stable. But Claire, you must be ready. You must choose life over fear. Claire's eyes filled with tears. Her friend's words felt like a rope thrown into a dark pit. For the first time in years, she saw a way out. That night, back at Stephen's house, she moved silently through the rooms, her children asleep in their bed. She stared at their innocent faces. Ethan's arm was wrapped around Sophie, just like always. She whispered, "Soon, my loves, soon we will be free." The plan was simple, but dangerous. She would pack a small bag, wait until Stephen was drunk and asleep, then take Ethan and Sophie. Jessica had promised to meet her near the old bus station at midnight. But fate rarely makes things easy. Stephen came home earlier than expected, half drunk, his eyes bloodshot. "Where's my food?" he barked. Claire's body stiffened. The bag was already hidden near the back door. If he found it, everything would be ruined. "I'll get it," she whispered, hurrying to the kitchen. Her hands shook as she served him. Each second felt like an hour. As he ate, his phone rang. Helen. Claire froze as she overheard him say, "Yes, mother. Don't worry. I will keep her in check. She won't dare disgrace me." Claire's chest tightened. She knew she had no more time. Tonight had to be the night. Hours crawled by. Stephen finally passed out on the couch, his snores rattling the room. She tiptoed to the children's room. "Wake up," she whispered, shaking Ethan gently. "Sophie, my baby, wake up." Ethan rubbed his eyes. "Mommy, what's wrong?" "Shh," she said, pressing a finger to her lips. "We are leaving right now." She grabbed the bag, held Sophie's hand, and led them toward the back door. Every creak of the floor felt like thunder in her ears. Just as she reached for the lock. "Where are you going?" Stephen's voice. Claire froze, blood draining from her face. He stood at the doorway, his eyes wild, rage boiling. "You think you can run from me?" he roared, stumbling forward. "You and those brats are mine. Do you hear me? Mine!" The children screamed. Stephen lunged, but Claire found strength she didn't know she had. She shoved the bag into Ethan's hand. "Run to the gate. Don't look back." "Mommy!" Sophie cried. "Go!" Claire shouted, blocking Stephen's path.
Stephen grabbed her arm, twisting it cruelly. "You dare defy me? I will kill you tonight." And then, suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Loud, urgent. Stephen froze, cursing under his breath. The door burst open. Jessica and two uniformed police officers stormed in. Jessica's voice rang out like thunder. "Let her go, Stephen. It's over." Stephen's face drained of color. What is this?" Jessica stepped forward, her eyes blazing. "Claire told me everything. I reported you. Your neighbors confirmed the screams, the beatings. You are finished." The police moved swiftly. Stephen fought, shouting insults, but he was dragged out in handcuffs. Helen, who had just arrived, screamed at the officers, but her words fell on deaf ears. In the chaos, Claire sank to the floor, clutching her children. Ethan held her tight, Sophie sobbing into her chest. "It's okay," Claire whispered, tears streaming down her face. "It's over. We're safe now." Jessica knelt beside her, squeezing her hand. "You are free, Claire, and this time, no one will chain you again." Weeks later, Claire stood at the doorway of a small but warm apartment Jessica had helped her secure. The children's laughter echoed from inside, filling the once empty rooms with life. She looked out at the rising sun and whispered, "Thank you, God. This is not the end of my story. This is the beginning." For the first time in years, she smiled. And this time, the smile was real. 2 weeks later, Stephen was released. He came back home, but his house was no longer home. He tried to be strong, but memories of how he met Claire and his children kept tormenting him. He went upstairs to freshen up with the help of his mother. "Get my food ready in a bit, Claire," he shouted, forgetting that Claire no longer stayed in their house. He hit his hand so hard on the wall. "I'm sorry, son, but you have to move on," his mother said. A week after, he still thinks about Claire and the children. Each time he comes back to his house, it feels so empty. "I can't believe she can live without me. I can't believe Claire can live outside our matrimonial home for a day. Do you think I've lost her? Mom, I miss my wife and kids," Stephen said. His mother held him and told him to move on, that she's not worth the stress, that she's useless and lazy and classless. "Stop it, Mom. I said stop it. You made me maltreat my wife and kids, and now you are saying, regret ever calling you mother. You deceived me. If I don't get my wife back, I won't forgive you," Stephen said, and left in search of his family. While driving, he kept on lamenting. "Baby, can you ever forgive me? I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was taking control of my home. Oh my God, please help me get my wife back. I beg, my fellow men, no dey follow any advice wey go say if you dey beat your wife, e go make you be the man of the house." Days later, Stephen met Claire at a supermarket and rushed to her immediately, kneeling down on his knees. "Babe, I beg, forgive me. Oh. I know I don't deserve it, but please, I can't live without you. You are my everything. My life is incomplete without you. I took my mother's advice, and this is where it landed me. My love, please forgive me and take me back." "Daddy?" Sophie whispered, her little voice uncertain. Stephen's eyes filled with tears. "Sophie, Ethan, I am so sorry." I turned back to Claire. "I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I need you to know the truth. It was my mother. She poisoned my heart against you. Every day, she said you were lazy, ungrateful, beneath me, and I was too weak to see through her lies. I let her control me, and I destroyed the best thing in my life, our family." His words hung heavy in the air. Claire's heart clenched, but she stood tall. Claire paused for a while, tears streaming down her face. "Me, your love? Me, babe? I'm no longer useless, Stephen." "Stephen, you raised your hand against me. You called me worthless in front of our children. Whether your mother spoke or not, you chose to listen. You chose cruelty." Tears streamed down Stephen's face. "I know, and I will carry that shame forever. But Claire, please, give me one more chance. I swear I will change. I will protect you this time. I will stand against my mother. Just don't end us." For a long moment, Silence filled the room. Ethan stared at his father, anger burning in his young eyes. Sophie clung to Claire's dress, her small body shaking. Claire took a deep breath. Her voice was soft but firm. "Stephen, I forgive you, not for your sake, but for mine. I will not carry bitterness in my heart. But forgiveness does not mean return. This marriage is broken beyond repair. Too many scars, too many tears. I cannot go back." Stephen's lips trembled. "So this is really the end?" Claire nodded. "Yes, this is the end. We will divorce. You are their father, and they will always know that. But as for me, I choose peace, I choose freedom, I choose life." Stephen covered his face with his hands and wept. For the first time, Claire saw not anger, not pride, but regret, yet it was too late. Weeks later, the divorce was finalized. Stephen moved away quietly, while Helen's influence over him faded. Without her control, he became a shadow of the man he once was, still wealthy but lonely. Claire, on the other hand, blossomed. With Jessica's support, she found work she loved. She became stronger, more confident, her smile no longer forced but real. Ethan and Sophie thrived in their new school, their laughter returning like sunlight after a storm. One evening, Claire sat by the window, watching her children play. Jessica's voice echoed in her mind. "It is better they say this is where their mother lives, than this is where their mother was buried." She whispered a prayer of gratitude.
If you are in a marriage where you are constantly insulted, beaten, or made to feel worthless, please know this: you do not deserve to live in pain. Abuse is not love. Control is not care. Silence is not peace. Sometimes people stay because they believe things will get better. Sometimes they stay because of the children, because of shame, or because society tells them every woman must endure. But enduring abuse does not make you strong. It only breaks you slowly. Your children are watching. Every insult, every slap, every tear, they see it, and it shapes their future. The best gift you can give them is not a broken home filled with fear, but a safe home filled with love. Forgiveness is good for your heart, but forgiveness does not mean you must remain in danger. You can forgive and still choose to walk away. You can forgive and still choose freedom. Remember, you are worthy of love. You are worthy of respect. You are worthy of peace. Do not wait until it is too late. Seek help. Reach out to a trusted friend, family member, or even the authorities. Life is too precious to be wasted in the shadows of abuse. Choose life. Choose peace. Choose freedom. Because at the end of the day, it is better your children say, "This is where my mother lives," than "This is where my mother is buried." Stay strong, stay hopeful, and never forget, you are not alone. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. See y'all in my next video.